So in this second hour, we have normally tried to dwell on Sri Aurobindo's poetry. And we have read quite a few poems, almost all of which are on the same theme. The witness and the wheel. The experience of nirvana in the Brahman. In the book of yoga, Savitri's being what is the word for entombed? Entombed in body and mind. So being as if dead with respect to body and mind, she rises above and receives the power of the Divine Mother in her. But there are many cantos about the rejection and the entering into the emptiness and dwelling in that emptiness in order for there to be the descent of the Divine Shakti. So we've heard those. We've heard some cantos about the gods, and the information that's transmitted in those cantos is similar to what we have heard from others, religions and scriptural accounts of the gods and sacrifices to the gods and what the gods can and can't know and can and can't do. And in one of the patterns that we've seen is one that we also see in the teaching of Sri Aurobindo, that the gods are these universal powers that we serve and to which we sacrifice, but ultimately, for the sake of spiritual realization and transformation, we have to turn those gods towards their source, and then our sacrifice is only to the Supreme. And I saw recently an interesting passage from the Mother about a visitation that she had from Maha Saraswati, I think it was, maybe Mahakali, and who was very willing to do anything that she wanted, but she was completely receptive to the idea that whatever she was to do should come from the Supreme. And so in the presence of the Mother, this Mahashakti turned towards the Supreme, and the Mother said she would no longer consult with or act through that being, but only the Supreme itself would act through that being for his purposes, and she would not be needed to direct or intervene in that relationship. So the Supreme Goddess surrendered to the Supreme Lord, and the Mother witnessed that. So this is a kind of mythological story that the Mother tells, and it's similar to the one that we read in the Kena Upanishad, where all of the gods seek to know their source. Mind seeks to know, the God of mind seeks to know what is its source, from where does mind come? And the God of life wants to know from where does life come, this power that I have, from where does it come? The life gods can't solve that problem, and the mind gods can't solve their problem. So in the Kena Upanishad, they all turn towards the Divine Mother, and we heard this last time. She makes a gesture as if worlds thrown away and indicates the Supreme. And only through her can the gods themselves see the Supreme Source the Brahman. So that's a mythological story, and yet in Augustine was preoccupied with the same idea. How is it that, how can we solicit all of these gods and their intervention for us with the Supreme, when in fact we get our inspiration and they get their inspiration from the Supreme itself. So the idea that there is one divine reality to whom sacrifice and obeisance are due, and not to the intermediary powers, is a theme that we find in these religions. We'll hear similar things in Buddhism. So we'll hear that tonight again, something like that. This is the mantra of Purusha and Prakriti, and it occurs in Canto 4 of Book 1. Cantos of Savitri are written in sections, and each section is complete in itself, with respect to some power and realization that Sri Aurobindo is transmitting. So, but the various sections are related. So I'll read two sections in this canto tonight. I would like to read three, but I'm not sure I'll have time, as one is quite short. Maybe there'll be time.
You can stop after one section.
Yes, I'm going to do it in segments, so when I finish the first section, I'll pause. And then the second section is a bit longer, and then decide whether or not to finish with the third one. But there are many other sections in this canto, it's quite long. All here, where each thing seems its lonely self, are figures of the sole transcendent one. Only by him they are. His breath is their life. An unseen presence molds the oblivious clay. A playmate in the mighty mother's game, one came upon the dubious whirling globe to hide from her pursuit in force and form. A secret spirit in the inconscience sleep, a shapeless energy, a voiceless word. He was here before the elements could emerge, before there was light of mind or life could breathe. Accomplice of her cosmic huge pretense. His semblances he turns to real shapes and makes the symbol equal with the truth. He gives to his timeless thoughts a form in time. He is the substance, he the self of things. She has forged from him her works of skill and might. She wraps him in the magic of her moods and makes of his myriad truths her countless dreams. The master of being has come down to her. An immortal child, born in the fugitive years, in objects wrought, in the persons she conceives. Dreaming, she chases her idea of him, and catches here a look and there a jest. Ever he repeats in them his ceaseless births. He is the maker and the world he made. He is the vision and he is the seer. He is himself the actor and the act. He is himself the knower and the known. He is himself the dreamer and the dream. There are two who are one, and play in many worlds. In knowledge and ignorance they have spoken and met, and light and darkness are their eyes interchange. Our deeds, our hopes, are intimate to their tale. They are married secretly in our thought and life. The universe is an endless masquerade, for nothing here is utterly what it seems. It is a dream, fact, vision of a truth which but for the dream would not be wholly true. A phenomenon stands out, significant, against dim backgrounds of eternity. We accept its face and pass by all it means. A part is seen. We take it for the whole. Thus have they made their play, with us for roles. Author and actor, with himself as seen, he moves there as the soul, as nature she. Here on the earth, where we must fill our parts, we know not how shall run the drama's course. Our uttered sentences veil in their thought. Her mighty plan she holds back from our sight. She has concealed her glory and her bliss, and disguised the love and wisdom in her heart. Of all the marvel and beauty that are hers, only a darkened little we can feel. He too wears a diminished Godhead here. He has forsaken his omnipotence. His calm he has foregone, and infinity. He knows her only. He has forgotten himself. To her he abandons all, to make her great. He hopes in her to find himself anew, incarnate, wedding his infinity's peace to her creative passion's ecstasy. Although possessor of the earth and heavens, he leaves to her the cosmic management and watches all, the witness of her scene. A supernumerary on her stage, he speaks no words or hides behind the wings. He takes birth in her world, waits on her will, divines her enigmatic gestures sense, the fluctuating chance turns of her mood, works out her meanings she seems not to know, and serves her secret purpose in long time. As one too great for him, he worships her. He adores her as his regent of desire. He yields to her as the mover of his will. He burns the incense of his nights and days, offering his life, a splendor of sacrifice. A rapt solicitor for her love and grace, his bliss in her to him is his whole world. He grows through her in all his being's powers. He reads by her God's hidden aim in things, or a courtier in her countless retinue, content to be with her and feel her near, he makes the most of the little that she gives, and all she does drapes with his own delight. A glance can make his whole day wonderful. A word from her lips with happiness wings the hours. He leans on her for all he does and is. He builds on her largesses his proud, fortunate days, and trails his peacock of life, and sons in the glory of her passing smile. In 1,000 ways he serves her royal needs. He makes the hours pivot around her will, makes all reflect her whims. All is their play. This whole wide world is only he and she.